Hello, everybody. My name is Pablo Lopez, and I did my internship at the Butts County Sheriff's Department, which is located in the city of Jackson. Before we get started, I want to apologize if you guys hear me coughing a lot or taking a minute. I have the flu right now, but I'm going to try to power through this and get this presentation done right and as clear as I possibly can be. My internship was a 6 credit internship, so I had to do 225 hours. Um, and my presentation is going to take y'all through everything I learned and what I did on a day-to-day basis at the Butts County Sheriff's Department. Now, to be more uh, clear, I was stationed at the detention center of the Butts County Sheriff's Department. They have an investigation center and a detention center, which is pretty much their jail, and that's where I did my internship. Let's get started. So, to give a little bit of a background to the Butts County Sheriff's Department, um, that's actually it right there in that picture. Just so you can get a better understanding of where my internship took place. Butts County Sheriff's Department is a medium security detention facility, and although they do have an investigation side, like I previously said, I primarily worked at the detention center. Most of the inmates here are housed at this facility are simply waiting or going through a trial process. Um, a large majority of them are just misdemeanors. If there's anybody there at the moment that has a felony, he was probably moved from another county here to await processing and to get a trial date. Um, this facility also offers several health and life services, such as substance abuse treatment, an anger management program, finance management classes, computer education classes, as well as the opportunity to obtain a GED, which from the time that I interned here, I can say a lot of these inmates here never got their high school education completed, and just the opportunity for them to be able to obtain that GED, it helps them a lot when they are able to get out of here and start their lives over. They can at least have that GED and get a decent paying job at least. The Butts County Sheriff's Department also has a fully equipped medical department, and it is in-house, and it has 2 nurses that work there full time, as well as 2 of the officers who work every shift have to have some type of medical background so that they can help the nurses. So for the quote unquote professional relationships section, I kind of struggled. I understand that the assignment asked us to talk about our relationship with our supervisors. However, the sergeant on the shift, I mean, I can say that I never saw him sit down one time. There were just days where he would come in and be there for a couple of hours, and then they would send him away to go to the jail, sorry, to the court for several hours on end. So my interactions mostly came from the officers training me. Um, I was trained by I was trained by several officers, but 3 of them trained me for the longest amount of time. There was some other officers I spent maybe a day with, or maybe half a day, but Officer Malden, Officer Willis, and Officer Presley were the ones I spent most of my time with. When I first got there, I spent weeks on end with Officer Presley learning the booking, which is pretty much the intake of the jail. So when the patrol officers arrest somebody, they bring him or her there, to which we fill out a bunch of information, take their picture, and then put them in a holding cell um, until we can get them sorted into a jail block. Um, Officer Malden is primarily in charge of feeding times, as well as any other necessity that any inmate might need throughout the day. So I spent a long time with him as well. That feeding time was a little difficult to learn. Um, the breakfast is about 6 o'clock in the morning, and then lunch is always around noon. Sometimes it could get pushed back to about 1. Officer Malden would feed them and take them out for rec time if the weather the weather was good. Um, Officer Willis is who I've spent the last couple of weeks with. We had an incident that I'm not going to go into, um, and I was told by the lieutenant and the sergeant that I was no longer allowed to participate in everyday activities. They wanted me to primarily be in the control tower so I can learn how to do that and I wouldn't have to be exposed to incidents like that again. It wasn't a mistake on my end or anything along those lines. It was just an accident that happened to somebody, and so, like I was saying, I spent a lot of time with Willis in the control tower. The control tower pretty much opens all the doors in the jail, and I will talk more about that in the next slide. These are some of the activities that I was able to perform during my time at the Butts County Sheriff's Department. Now, I will say I was not allowed to be very hands-on with most of the things on here for safety reasons. Um, However, excuse me, I'm so sorry. However, I was able to feed, like I previously said. That's for during lunch times. I was also able to transfer, not obviously not by myself. Should be shadowing an officer who was transferring an inmate from their jail cell to the first appearance room. And the first appearance room is pretty much just a small little courtroom where the inmate would have a chance to talk to the judge about any questions that he or she might have, and the judge would then give them a bail or maybe deny a bail. I was also able to book inmates, which is the intake system, where you fill out about 3 sheets worth of information about the inmates, if they're allergic to anything, if they have any religious diets that they have to follow, and we do a background check on them, take a picture of them, and set them in a holding cell until we can move them to a jail block. And lastly, I was able to help at the control tower, which is where I've spent the last 4 weeks at. And this is an image of the control tower here. Obviously, this is not a picture of the control tower at the Butts County Sheriff's Department, but it has a very similar layout. From here, as you can see, those monitors up top, you can see every single cell block, and monitor the inmates, make sure there's no fights, make sure there's nothing untoward going on. And from the monitors on the desk, you are able to open every single door at the jail. So the control tower is a very, very important part of the jail. This is where communication is very important, and as well as teamwork. Um, so. So this is my learning objectives slide. However, I'm getting very close to the 10-minute mark, so I'm going to try to be very brief. I'm not going to discuss all of these. So obviously, when I first started at the jail, I really wanted to learn the inner works of the jail, which I do believe I was able to achieve. Obviously, there's always room to grow. However, I have learned quite a bit, and I'm very thankful for that. As far as shortcomings, I was not able to learn any of the processes of the court. I didn't have time. The days didn't really match up. Most of the court days, I would be at my other job, so I didn't actually have time to really learn much about that. However, I was able to learn how to read body language a lot more, which I'm very grateful for. And I miserably failed at learning how to balance my work life and my personal life. However, that's something that I was able to improve upon towards the end of my internship. As far as technology goes, the jail is not really somewhere you're gonna find a lot of technology. There was 2 that I can really think about, being the control tower, and the tablets that inmates are able to use. This is an example of them right here. You have certain apps you can use, and you can access the internet, simple things like that. But other than that, not much else on the technology front.